and programs that the country can allow to continue. Everything else bad said about it, but this one in terms of employment and in terms of self-sustaining, if we can allow the levy to continue, it is sustainable. And I bet that what we are giving, including allowing housing to people who previously cannot access and afford decent homes, then I would think that the country should take it and proceed with it.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. And if we were to be direct to the question and answer, would say we are almost spending 1 hour only for leadership of the House. We have not even had anything ourselves. So, Speaker, what is mine? Mine is this. Nominee, Honorable Alice Wahome. This issue of house levy or house tax, of course, was very controversial, and it is still controversial. However, because it is in place, it is mainly in urban. It's only in urban. And the people who are paying are in the villages. And most of us in Parliament, we represent village constituencies. About 80% of this country is village, or 70% for that matter. And even if, and you know, the government has run to talk about jobs, creation of jobs. My view, Minister, is if you are confirmed, what will be the housing plan for the rural people who are also paying this tax and paying this levy for people in towns to enjoy houses and to enjoy jobs? Nobody in my constituency or constituency rural who will enjoy those jobs. Nobody will enjoy those housings, right? But we are losing money. So what this is that we are advising even the president or the government in terms of saying, these guys in the rural are paying these taxes or levy, but this is our housing plan for them, so that we can actually move as a country. Thank you, Speaker.
Vicaria.
Thank you, Chair. I will only ask questions that have been raised by Kenyans. The chairman of the IDP camp in Nakuru called New Canaan is asking, after the settlement of the court cases referring to Dongo farm and Kisima farm, when is the ministry intending to do the titling? Secondly, there is a guy from Joro asking about Ndefo plot in Menengai slopes and whether there will be titles, whether you will be giving titles to that place called Ndefo plots. Thirdly, is a teacher in my constituency asking about...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, not to interrupt my colleague, I think those questions can only be answered by the minister when she is in office substantively. Whether she can give me a title or not. She can't give anything now.
Honorable Chair.
I was about to tell
she is jobless.
Honorable Vicaria, you are assessing the suitability or otherwise of Alice Wahome being reappointed Minister for Lands. Now you're asking her to issue titles.
Sorry, let me rephrase.
Under what authority?
Let me rephrase.
Yes.
Assuming she's appointed to that, assuming she's appointed to that position, Honorable Chair, because these are pertinent issues on
another point of order.
Yes.
I think Honorable Junet's point of order was very legitimate, yes, because the questions Honorable Gikaria is asking, even if the minister is approved, are the questions that we change our standing orders for, to cause the minister to appear before the House to answer such questions. These are not questions for a vetting process.
Alice, answer.
I think in
Vicaria, you have relayed concerns of your constituents.
Thank you very much.
Which are not vetting questions.
Maybe the last one, and that is related to the affordable housing.
Go ahead.
Is related to the program. Is a very good program for purposes of employment. But the contractors who are given that do not come and actualize that by adhering to the labor laws, by paying, say, for city rates or the rates that are there in the labor law. Maybe what action will she take to confirm that this will be done? And people
if she's confirmed.
Thank you.
Again, she can't take action unless we say she'll be a minister. Now, but you can answer those.
I think largely in terms of titering, I want to say that we are not on course because we need better funding for titering. The total number of, in terms of percentage, the country has about 30% of our land titled. Meaning,
Alice, who has asked you that?
Because
the questions they asked,
on the titles.
Holding, Posing just asked you about how do rural folks in Kenya benefit from housing levy?
I'm
Very
answering
simple.
Gekaria.
The second one of Kikaria was, will titles be given to some 2 farms? So it's not titling generally.
Let me say that I think you saved me from answering Gekaria's question.
Yes.
And then we leave it at that.
Are you the one I told last time about reading a book of a witness who talked too much?
No, not me.
It was not you.
Not me.
Yes.
And I'm sure.
I think it was Linturi.
Yes. So I will leave that question. On the question of IDPs is gone. Affordable housing in rural areas.
Yes.
This is a new program, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. It's a new program. It's just starting, and it has been met by various challenges, including litigation. I believe even the rural folk are entitled to decent housing. I see the program moving there going forward.
Mary Emase.
Thank you, Chairman. I had 2 questions, but one of them has been, I think, prosecuted well. It was on the proposed levy on land.
Very good.
But I would want to say, Chairman, that there is need to improve the communication in terms of public participation. Probably going forward, we need to change the law so that members are involved in doing public participation with the people we represent, so that we disseminate the information and then bring our feedback. But Chair, I want to ask on collapsed buildings. There are reported incidences of collapsed buildings across the country, which have resulted in injuries and loss of lives and property. Oversight of the construction industry falls under the armpit of the State Department of Public Works. So my question is, what has been done to address these cases and to avoid future incidences? In your view, are these measures sufficient in resolving the issue?
Alice?
It is true the regulatory authority, that is NCA, has the mandate in terms of ensuring that only people who are qualified are contractors. But the problem is not just about contractors. I think the problem is deeper. We have people taking shortcuts, and some people also, we need to work collaboration with the county governments, because some of the buildings coming up do not even have plans, so that even the issue of the National Construction Authority or enforcement should start at a further place at the county level. And I think that we need to do our work better. We need to strengthen the Public Works Department, Honorable Speaker, and ensure that in terms of national work, both the national work and the private work, because most of the buildings that collapse are public. But also Kenyans need to work better and ensure that they do their buildings using professionals. There is a lot of shortcut in that regard. So that the Kenyans should be also their own watchmen. I mean, the government cannot be everywhere. I think government is doing its best, but Kenyans must also start building with integrity, meaning applying the law and the regulations.
Daud?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to comment on one thing before I ask you a question. From your CV, you have said you are a member of parliament from 2022 to 2027. So does it mean you were not a minister? I know you were elected until 2027, but you had to resign to? No, it's in her CV. That's what I'm saying. So you need to correct your CV.
I will look at that because it was only 2022.
Let me ask you my question now. adjudication mistakes on land are normally sometimes done at the lands office, and it costs people to rectify those mistakes in acreage or size or whatever, about 18,000 shillings to rectify. And not just that, you have to pay, initially you had to pay 150 or 300 or 500. That charge has now gone to 3,000 shillings. And there was no public participation when you increase the charge from 300 to 3,000 shillings. Somebody has got 10 parcels of land under adjudication, has to pay 30,000. That's even before you factor in other costs. That is one question. The second question, what is your take on the Dongo Land Commission lands, which were cancelled, which there is a report regarding the same? The last one is regarding affordable housing. You have talked about it, and my colleagues have talked about it. And there were grand launches by His Excellency the President, who has nominated you to that ministry again. But unfortunately, those housing were just launched and they have not taken off. And like Honorable Aisuda has said, there are 24 billion in that account. So what is that money doing if it is not being used? And those lands are, those housing projects are just stationary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If you allow me another one, but I think.
Ferdinand, take two. If actually you are appointed as CS, I want to find out, because going around, you'll find yourself, there's a lot of upcoming, like you go to a place like Madari and other places which are congested. There's no plan at all so that you find people living in a very affordable way. What plan do you have to be able to at least streamline some of these upcoming dwelling facilities that actually are causing problems? You'll find that even getting electricity in a place like that is not there. And somebody staying in a place in Madare, and water is actually passing through her house. So what plan would you have for that kind of thing? Secondly, I come from Trans Nzoia. This affordable housing scheme, have you actually ignored Trans Nzoia? Or what is happening when it's supposed to be countrywide projects that's supposed to help people in areas that Trans Nzoia, where people actually also need those affordable housing? Alice?
I have not picked, let me start with the Trans Nzoia. I haven't picked this specifically, but if we have no affordable housing program coming, I think I want to assure you that the first entry to the affordable housing program is the 290 constituencies. Every constituency is supposed to be a beneficiary when we roll out fully of a minimum of 210 housing units. So yes, we will be there. And of course, there with the available land, I won't say when, because it's a program that as soon as possible, maybe we don't even have land in your place, so you needed to work with the ministry to get land for that. And I'm not saying there isn't, because I don't have my document with me. I believe in Trans Nzoia County, we already have some affordable housing programs coming up. Who are you? Yeah. We do have. It's okay. We will be there, and I'm sure that it is every other wish of member to work with the ministry to ensure that they are there faster than maybe the event plan. Yeah. Then the slum upgrading. We have a very good slum upgrading program. It's the one working in, for example, in Kibera. We are in Mukuru. we will be going to Mathare, and therefore, what I can say is that the government needs support for the affordable housing program. The houses for the slum upgrading is even cheaper. Those houses are even cheaper than the social housing, and we have a lot of goodwill in terms of funding.
Just hold there. We are now classified as a middle-income country, right?
Generally.
Kenya. Not generally. We are classified.
Yes.
We are not a HIPIC.
We
highly indebted poor country. We are not. Now, when you talk of slum upgrading, is your policy to eliminate slums or to upgrade slums? How do you upgrade a slum?
That could be the terminology that we are using, but basically, you know, we are providing the necessary infrastructure, water, ensuring that the necessary facilities, including electricity, connectivity, and is available, and roads. And the program is well funded by the UN, the European Union, World Bank, and also AFD. So I think that the question is, why are we talking of slum upgrading instead of slum eradication? Maybe that is something we can think about and change the name.
No, I think if I have understood her well, Speaker, she's saying they want to make slums habitable. That people can still live in slums, but they become better place where they...
That cannot be the direction of our country.
It is not. It is not. It is basically, once we work, we eliminate the slum. So possibly we need to change the wording of that program, the title.
I think, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's begin by saying maybe that concept of slum upgrading is not our concept. Yes. The financiers, you've talked about them.
Yes.
Those are the people who brought that terminology, because you build for me nice things up country and a slum upgrading, and it's a misnomer. Two questions. The first one is on housing levy. We are interested in this because we are told we have actually collected lots of money through those levies, and there was a report in the papers that the PS had actually invested the money on treasury bonds. That sounded a little bit odd, but you may need to confirm whether indeed we do have that surplus, and that is the route we are taking, while at the same time, His Excellency the President has taken another route of saying, instead of just affordable housing for people to buy, we will now put up hostels in institutions, which I think is a very good program that would go side by side with the affordable housing. On land, again, if you are confirmed, we have experienced the president going around the country and interacting with the people. They come up to him to say, we do not have title deeds and we need those title deeds. And he makes generous promises that in 2-3 months, I'll be back here to give you the titles that you need. As the person responsible for policy, are there policies in place where you can actually carry out those premises without having to embarrass the head of state, so that those down there do not say he gave false promises, etc., etc. You're able to carry out to the letter when the promise is made, it's actually executed.
Alice, Dawood is protesting that you didn't answer his question. Yes. And then Dongo report. Go ahead.
I asked 3 questions. I asked about the adjudication, about the Dongo report and the affordable housing, where nothing is going on. And you've got 24 billion in the account, putting in treasury bills or bonds.
Yes, Minister.
I could start by looking at the Dongo report is a very good document report, and I know that several of the properties that are within and picked by the Dongo report will clearly indicate the kind of cartel that I was talking about. I know I was asked to define what is a cartel. I think, in short, a cartel is a thief. It's a thief for land. The Dongo report is a lot of, I don't have the figures, but some of the land recovered has been recovered through the EACC because we have institutions, some we have had to go to court through EACC, and it is work in progress. The report is still live. That's what I would say. Affordable housing, everybody wants affordable housing, but there is also recognition that there has been a lot of disruption on this particular program, both by cases and therefore implementation, and that's why we had some money not able to implement immediately, because when you have also cases going on, you need first to understand where you are. And it is not that there is surplus. We have also already procured for all that money you are talking about. What happened, Honorable Speaker, is that the last financial year, 2023-2024, we had a balance that was not utilized because payments had not been done to the tune of about 38 billion shillings. And it would be reckless to hold money into a general account without investing it, even if it's short term. So there is, it's not that it's being invested because there is no work. We have 106,000 housing units. Right now we are releasing the newly procured ones, over 55,000, and therefore I want to confirm that that money is already taken up, plus of course unexpected maybe annual income through the levy of about 62 to 63 billion shillings if the Kenya revenue does its work properly, and I think that is the amount we expect so per year, about 63 to 65 billion shillings. So the 38 is part of the budget that we presented and will all be spent in this year. So Dawu, I want to encourage you. I believe that I'm here to seek support also for my suitability, and when that happens, then if that happens, I think on my part I should say if that happens, then we should be looking at. Meru is a beneficiary of some of our affordable housing. We've come there with the president. So maybe we have not reached your constituency.
No, Speaker, they have launched with His Excellency, put the stone.
Your question is that we have not
moved
started.
Even one way, and they've got the money in the account while she was the minister. That's why I'm not saying if she's confirmed. While she was the minister, it has not moved.
Sometimes, Honorable Speaker, I appreciate the concern of the Honorable Member. Sometimes lack of takeoff is because of various things. Maybe documentation, perfection is not complete, logistical issues. Sometimes even when we do proper investigation, you find that the contractor who had said that they are able to take off sometimes get a bit of delay, and we are supporting even local contractors. So I don't think it's a case where we are that so strict. We are working with our local contractors, and sometimes logistical issues. And thank you, Honorable Junet, for once. I know it is a very important key issue in terms of implementation.
Yes, Owen.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I want to ask one question, one very important question. Cabinet nominee, land in this country is one of the reasons why we had the 2010 Constitution. It's one of the key aspects, and it actually gave birth to Article 67, which formed the National Lands Commission, where people from regions that for a long time had issues on land, especially historical land injustices, that gave birth to Ndungu report, Jonjo report, and many other reports, pushed and voted. My people woke up very early in the morning to go and vote for the new constitution, not because of any other thing, but because of land, especially the coast. Today in Parliament, over 80% of the petitions we receive are actually on issues related to land and security. Now, looking at it, it becomes, therefore, it requires leadership, strong leadership to actually finish these issues of land. But the National Lands Commission, I don't want to belabor the issue of National Lands Commission because you've answered many questions, is one of the key planks in resolving the issues of land. People knew there was a ministry, but then they set up the National Lands Commission so that they can solve the problems. So the minister and National Lands Commission must work together to ensure that eventually people get justice in terms of historical land injustice and review of grants. Nominee, I am reliably informed that since you became CS, you have never had a meeting with the board, the National Lands Commission. You know, a formal meeting to actually sit and discuss issues and give leadership in the sector. And I think this is bringing issues as we move forward. But, Honorable Speaker, what I would like to say this. We have moved amendments to amend the National Lands Commission Act so that we can extend their mandate in a review of grants and hearing historical land injustice. But the biggest impediment has been the ministry, including a letter that we received from you dated 24th April, which is signed by you, that you know there are certain issues. When the committee called you for the meeting to discuss these amendments, the committee said that the minister did not make an input. But when we passed the law in Parliament, when it was going now, we are supposed to send it first, and we respected your letter, and actually these were my amendments, and we held back. But the vibes I get, if I can use that word, the vibes I get is that probably the minister does not want the National Lands Commission to exist. She wants absolute power to run whatever she wants, the show in the land sector. And they're
making a speech. Can I ask a question?
So my question is, do you still believe that we should not review the law, especially section 14 and 15 of the National Lands Commission, to give them power to review grants and to hear historical injustice? I mean, do you still believe we should not review that and deny the National Lands Commission the power, or you have changed your mind about it?
In those many words, he's asking, are you hostile to the National Land Commission? And have you ever met them since you became minister?
Maybe I will repeat first that I don't know where your information is coming from, Honorable Member, but I said that I enjoy cordial relationship with Otachi Garrison, the chairman, and his commission. That is one. We have not had any conflict, either by exchange of letter or by verbal exchange. So the source you have could be a very biased or an incorrect source. I am working with them. Remember, they are also an independent commission, and their mandate, they must also not encroach on the mandate of the executive, because their mandate is very clear in the Constitution, and I have no personal interest or ministerial interest or executive interest to encroach on their mandate. But they must also remember there is also the clear mandate they have, and we have. I have met them, Honorable Chair, in various meetings, formal meetings. I have met the board, and when the chair also confirmed that the board is coming, some of the members did not come, and I don't want to go into that because the commission, I think you need to summon the commission yourself as Parliament. The commission has its own challenges. I think it's right now maybe a bit.
Alice, you say you have no problem with them, then continue to list their problems.
Not myself, person, their own challenges, not between me and them, Honorable Chair.
Okay, it's
that's what
them.
I'm saying.
Okay.
Maybe the reason they are not working is the challenge between, but not between me. They have handed over during a formal meeting the national land policy, because as their mandate, they recommend to the ministry the national land policy. We have had a whole morning meeting, the entire board led by their chairman. So, and the chairman also paid a courtesy call. We have had other mini meetings for various things with the chair and any other commission that has an issue to deal with at the ministry level. So, I'm okay.
Your Speaker.
Microphone.